Hey everybody, I'm Josh Flores, your friendly neighborhood director of secondary English language arts at the Oklahoma State Department of Education. And this PD on Your Plan is going to be co-presented with Stark. Stark, can you say hi? Oh, we'll take the guy out. There you go, very good. So in the first module, we really went over the structure of the new English language arts standards. And this is chapter 2 of a series all about the new Oklahoma academic standards for English language arts. And in this chapter, we want to talk about this concept of bundling the standards together in order to support lesson writers and curriculum developers. So if you're like me, when you think of English language arts and all the skills and concepts that have to work together, you probably think about Lego bricks. I think it's a perfect analogy for English language arts because one Lego brick isn't much fun. Like if I said, here Stark, can you build something with that? Go play with just that. That's all you get. And then I take it away and I say, okay, now play with this brick, and that's all you get. It doesn't really work with that when we're teaching and learning English language arts skills. The English language arts skills really build upon each other and have to work together. That's why it's so hard to teach, especially at the secondary level, so hard to teach skills in isolation. There's just too many moving components and skills that function and build upon other skills to create something wonderful. So a lot of these skills can be bundled together to create really rich tasks or even classroom assessments with your students. So keep this in mind when you're writing your curriculum with the new Oklahoma academic standards for English language arts. Think about the content that you're already using in your classroom. And by content, of course, I mean the stories, the nonfiction, the informational pieces that your students are reading and are really engaged with. Stories that you're already familiar with, the stories that you know are winners for students. And then look at two standards that you're going to bundle together to create rich learning tasks and formative assessments. It's my recommendation that you start with Standard 2 and Standard 3. Standard 2 and 3 really have the most general, most familiar reading and writing skills in the standards. And I think it's good to start from a place where we're all familiar with. It's also a good starting point when you just want your students to engage with the text and annotate it with purpose. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this example lesson. So let's walk through an example lesson and see what that actually looks like. I'm going to start with Standard 2 and 3. I could start with the overarching statement and talk about what that looks like in my classroom with the content I'm teaching. But I want to be more specific, so I'm going to go further and look at the objectives underneath Standard 2 and 3. If I was going to teach the best short story of all time, The Most Dangerous Game, then I would look at Standard 2, reading and writing processes, and say I'm going to do the objective that requires students to summarize their understanding. And I'm going to pair that or bundle it with Standard 3, critical reading and writing, that asks students to focus on certain literary elements. And I'm going to highlight the literary elements that are going to be my focuses for this short story, which of course are setting, character development, and conflict. Now, if you haven't read The Most Dangerous Game, stop this right now and get out of here. Go do a Google search. You can find it online for free, and you're welcome, because I know you're going to thank me later. It's an amazing story of a hero and a villain, the internal and external conflict, man versus self, and man versus man, and man versus beast, and of course man versus nature. Yeah, here you go. I don't have any representation of nature anyway. So it's a great story. So I want students to read through and be able to summarize their understanding of what they read, because it might take more than one day or class period, but also annotate with purpose in the text, or take notes at least over the setting details, the types of conflict, and how the characters address those types of conflict. So there you have it. That's my first bundle. And it does set us up where we can level up our students to different standards. We can go into many different directions in class now that we have this understanding of conflict and we've read a really engaging text. We could level up and create a new bundle focused on informational texts, where you might take Standard 2 again, that summarization aspect, and let's take a Standard 6 and bundle those together. Bundle those together and ask students to go out and research some informational texts to bring to class that have to do with that theme of survival that's present in The Most Dangerous Game. So I pulled up two that I just Google searched. Man found alive after 66 days at sea, and California man rescued after making help sign with cypress needles. So those would be decent pairings that students might find, or maybe you just want to produce those and share those with students, and they can use those same skills in the first bundle with these informational texts, because arguably they have different settings, different types of conflict, whether implicit or explicit. Oh, I'm missing my microphone. Then they can see those conflicts at work in something other than a fictional story. They see them in real life. So then students, as pairs or in small groups or as a whole class, can then have an academic conversation using standards from Standard 1 and focus on, maybe Standard 3 again, but we'll look at the writing strand and focus on that personal narrative focus for 9th grade. And they can make personal connections to times they had to survive really trying circumstances. For example, they might talk about, how they survived Mr. Flores' English class first semester. Or maybe, this would just be me, I would say how I survived a math class. Daddy would just flirt with the smartest girl and then get tutored by her. And that's how I survived math class. So we can even delve further by bundling that research standard with some vocabulary skills. So we're going to bundle Standard 6 and Standard 4 together. But what are students researching? Well, since the theme is survival, maybe they should research the survivalist mindset and explore how they have to incorporate the survivalist mindset on a daily basis. So we're going to brainstorm a list of settings that students encounter daily: the hallway, math class, the cafeteria, and have them discuss and give advice to say, okay, so if they're 9th grade, they can give advice to the 8th graders about how to survive those settings. So I think the survivalist mindset is also a good way to talk about the themes in the story. Anyways, I have a lesson plan. I'll post it and include it with this module, and then you can do with it what you will. But I hope that helps to clarify or give you a starting point to not only familiarize yourself with the standards, but helps you begin to practice building your own awesome lesson plans that are aligned to the standards by bundling 1 or 2 standards together. I think it's time for bath time, and so Stark and I are going to go.
No.
I think it's bath time.
No.
Okay, well, will you say bye, Stark? Say bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your students, and take care of each other. Actually, math class is really cool because they have like Lego-like manipulatives. Kind of jealous of that. We need Legos in English language arts class more often.
No.
Hey, that's mine. I bought it. I bought that.